Why do so many people who feel called to something greater end up distancing themselves from the church? This is a question that echoes deeply in the hearts and minds of many, especially those who feel a powerful inner fire, a burning desire to experience a more authentic and pure spirituality, but struggle to find that connection in traditional religious settings. Have you ever felt that despite being surrounded by the structure and practices of a church, something essential is missing? Something beyond the rituals, the rehearsed words, and the formalities? It's as though the very essence of true spirituality is absent, and no matter how much you try to fit in, you just can't shake the feeling that something is wrong. This feeling of discomfort or disconnection is not uncommon among those who sense a deeper calling, who are searching for a connection that goes beyond the surface level of religious practice. For those who have been spiritually awakened or called to something higher, these feelings may seem more pronounced, more difficult to ignore. To feel out of place in a space that should be a refuge does not signify weakness or lack of faith. On the contrary, it is often a sign of spiritual growth, a subtle divine awakening. Many people who are called the chosen ones have an acute sensitivity to perceive when things are not aligned with divine principles. Unfortunately, this sensitivity often becomes evident in the way many modern churches prioritize appearances, material interests, and the pursuit of power, all while straying from the true essence of faith. The question remains, what happens when the very places meant to nourish our souls start to feel disconnected from their spiritual purpose? Why does this happen? This exploration will try to uncover the reasons behind these feelings of discomfort and examine what they reveal about our deeper spiritual needs. Why do many who seek an authentic connection with God feel disconnected from the church, even when they participate in services and rituals? Is it possible that the institutions designed to lead us to God have become distracted by their own agendas and have lost sight of their original purpose? Spirituality, which should be a path of surrender and love for the Creator, has, in some places, been overshadowed by materialism and the quest for power. We will reflect on what the scriptures say about this tension between the spiritual and the material. For instance, in Matthew 6:24, we are reminded that no one can serve two masters, meaning we cannot serve both God and wealth. This verse speaks to the heart of the matter. When we allow material concerns to overshadow our spiritual journey, we risk losing the true essence of what it means to walk in faith and live a life aligned with God's will. As we navigate this exploration, we will seek to understand how we can restore our connection to God, focusing on spiritual depth and authentic worship without the distractions and intermediaries that often cloud our connection with the divine. This is an invitation to engage in personal reflection. Is the place you currently find yourself in truly nourishing your soul, or is it simply consuming your spiritual energy without offering the deep, transformative nourishment that you are longing for? The church, which should serve as a space for personal growth and spiritual development, often becomes a place where the soul feels stifled by the weight of material pursuits and superficial practices. It is important to note that this feeling of disconnection is not necessarily a sign of doubt in one's faith. In fact, it can be a sign of a divine awakening, a call to look beyond the structures and rituals that once served a purpose, but now seem insufficient for the spiritual journey. This is a reminder that our relationship with God cannot be confined to the walls of a church, the formality of rituals, or empty traditions. The true essence of our faith is not found in external practices, but in the inner surrender, humility, and depth of our relationship with the divine. The heart of worship is a relationship, not a performance. The essence of a church should always be rooted in simplicity, a space of genuine communion where humility, devotion, and sincere love for God form the foundation. However, over time, many churches have strayed from this ideal. Instead of focusing on cultivating true spiritual growth and fostering authentic connection with God, many modern temples place excessive emphasis on appearances, unnecessary rules, and, most importantly, the pursuit of profit. This shift has created a deep disconnection for many spiritually conscious individuals who are seeking more than just external rituals. For those attuned to divine principles, it becomes increasingly impossible to ignore when the values of a church are distorted by materialism, greed, and personal ambition. Have you ever noticed how, in some places, spirituality has been commodified? It seems that in certain environments, the value of your faith is measured by how much you contribute financially. This practice, which may feel like a forced transaction, undermines the very purpose of faith. While generosity is an important virtue, it loses its significance when it is used to fuel personal luxuries or the lavish lifestyles of leaders, instead of being used to serve others or to grow in humility. This commercialization of faith creates a deep rupture within those who are spiritually sensitive. What should be a sacred space of spiritual support and growth often becomes an oppressive environment where the weight of materialism suffocates the true freedom of the soul. This spiritual disconnect leads many to question, is this really where I encounter God? Is this space nourishing my soul, or is it simply consuming my spiritual energy? These questions are not a sign of doubt, but of a divine intuition that guides you toward a more authentic path. When something feels misaligned with your soul's calling, it is a reminder that you are being gently guided to seek a deeper, more genuine connection with God. For many, this divine intuition is what leads them to step away from environments that no longer resonate with their spiritual journey, and instead seek a deeper and more intimate relationship with God. As we reflect on these challenges, it is important to understand that the journey of those called to a higher spiritual path is not marked by the absence of struggles or difficulties. In fact, it is often marked by moments of doubt, confusion, and discomfort. However, these struggles are essential for spiritual growth. They shape the individual into someone who is more resilient, more aware, and more attuned to their divine purpose. The tension between the spiritual and the material may be unsettling, but it is also a necessary part of the journey. It teaches us the importance of remaining firm in our faith, even when everything around us seems to be pulling us in different directions. The challenges faced by those who feel called to walk a higher path are not signs of weakness, but of divine refinement. These difficulties are opportunities to deepen our faith and draw nearer to God. When life becomes overwhelming, it is important to return to your spiritual practices, whether it's through prayer, meditation, or simply a quiet moment of reflection. These practices can help reconnect us to the divine and remind us that we are never truly alone. The act of returning to God, of humbling ourselves before His presence, helps us regain our spiritual balance. For those who are called to walk the path of the chosen, adversity is not something to fear, but something to embrace. Every trial, every challenge is a tool to sharpen and strengthen your faith. As you grow in your relationship with God, you become a beacon of light to those around you who may be struggling. Your journey can inspire others, guiding them to the same divine light that leads you. This is why the chosen ones are often those who have faced the most trials, because through those trials, they have gained the deepest wisdom and understanding of God's love and plan. Remember, the path of the chosen is not always easy, but it is always significant. It is not about avoiding difficulty, but about using those difficulties to build a deeper and more authentic relationship with God. As you walk this path, know that you are never truly alone. You are part of a greater divine plan, a plan that calls you to walk in faith, humility, and love. Your journey has meaning, and every step you take, even through the most difficult times, brings you closer to fulfilling the divine purpose for your life. In the midst of life's challenges, always return to your spiritual base. Seek God through simple and sincere prayers. The true essence of spirituality is not found in external rituals, but in the authentic expression of your relationship with the divine. Trust that each step of your spiritual journey, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity to draw closer to God and fulfill your divine purpose. Set aside the distractions of the material world and walk confidently in the light of truth, knowing that the divine is guiding you every step of the way.